Today, I'm going to be driving not one, but two Aston Martin DBSs. To my left here, I've got a Volante with an automatic gearbox, and on the right, as you can see, I've got a Coupe, but this one has the 6-speed manual. And my job today is very simple. That's to find out which one of these two is best. Perhaps one of modern day Aston's most revered cars, the DBS was built to be a sportier version of the DB9. It served as a replacement for the Vanquish as Aston Martin's flagship model, and of course it made a star appearance as James Bond's ride in Casino Royale. The two examples you see here are for sale with Hilton and Moss, links for which can be found in the description below the like button. Both cars share a 510 brake horsepower 6-litre V12 engine and will do roughly 190 miles an hour, and both will get from 0 to 62 miles an hour in give or take 4.5 seconds. The main difference though is the weight. The Coupe weighs around 1,695 kg at the curb, with the Volante coming in at 1,810 kilos. With the roof lopped off, the Volante is also 25% less stiff than the Coupe, and as we're about to find out, the result is two different flavours of DBS. So I've been driving this car for a couple of hours now, and I'm going to level with you. This is really not what I was expecting. When you think of an Aston Martin, you tend to think of a long-legged GT car, not a sports car. And I know the DBS was always supposed to be the sportier version of the DB9, but I didn't expect this to be as fun as I've discovered it is. First of all, let's talk about the powertrain. We've got a V12 engine and a 6-speed manual gearbox. It's not something you see often in this day and age, but let me tell you, what a combination. We've got 510 brake horsepower through the rear wheels, and for me and for this car it feels like the right amount of power. Obviously we get 700 horsepower GT cars in this day and age, even 800 horsepower, and it's getting a little bit silly now. And being able to change gear yourself with that glorious V12 engine, it's a real treat, trust me. And it's a nice gear shift as well. Clutch is a little bit heavy, although it's not too bad, but the shift itself is nice and slick. Yeah, it feels really good. But the thing that's taken me by surprise the most is just how dynamic it is. The steering's great. You turn the wheel, you can place it on the road with real accuracy. There's a little bit of body roll in the chassis, but not too much. But overall, this is a really, really playful car. There is a chuckability to it that I just was not expecting at all. Changes direction really, really well. And then when you get out of corners, straighten the car up, get on the power, and it just shoots down the road. And the rear end's quite playful as well. On a couple of occasions, it's tried to step out on me, but not in an aggressive way. It's actually quite predictable, and it feels like it's a really well balanced car, and it feels like it gives you plenty of warning as to what it's up to. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. I've had a huge amount of fun. Brake pedal also feels really good. We got carbon ceramics on this. In fact, we got carbon ceramics on both cars. Loads of stopping power. Generally, this is just a really lovely, sporty car with a V12 engine and a manual gearbox. And of course, it's an Aston Martin, which makes it instantly cool. Yeah, I can see why Bond shot around in one of these. What a car. In terms of the ride quality, low speed is a little bit busy, but there's certainly nothing offensive about it. And when you're up and you've got some speed underneath it, the car flows down the road quite nicely, actually. I think generally, the line between sports car and GT car is really finely balanced here, but Aston Martin have got it right. I actually prefer it to the DBS Superleggera. I once spent a weekend with one of those, and it's a really lovely car, but this has it's agile in the way that car isn't. And I think for me, and of course it has a manual gearbox as well, that's what makes it just a little bit more fun. Yeah, if I had the choice between the two, I would probably have one of these. And I mean, look at it. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous car. What a timeless piece of design. So I've now driven the DBS Coupe with the manual. Why don't we go and hop in to the Volante, which has the automatic gearbox, and see how we get on. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that more than this, because this is a proper little driver's car and it's right up my street. And today we don't have the best conditions for drop top weather, but we'll see how we get on. It's now time for the Volante, which offers a different proposition to the Coupe. The automatic gearbox is Aston's Touchtronic 2 transmission and is a torque converter with 6 speeds and an engine blip function. So let's get out on the road and see what it's like. So I'm now on the Volante, and I'll be honest, it's a mid-November's day and it's pretty cold, so I'm gonna keep the roof up. But my first impressions are, and I'm driving down the same bit of road as I did in the Coupe, you can feel the extra weight in this car. The steering feels heavier, there's a bit more body lean in the corners, and it just doesn't feel as agile as that Coupe did. Now, does that mean dynamically this doesn't perform? No, not at all. I still think for the weight of the car and for what it's supposed to be, this thing still feels pretty darn good. But yeah, just compared to that manual DBS, yeah, it's not in the same ballpark as that. In terms of this automatic gearbox, it's pretty good, you know. The gear changes are still pretty sharp. And I mean, just listen to that V12. I almost feel like it's more pronounced in this actually than it is that DBS. It actually sounds louder. Yeah, that's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. But listen to these gear changes. They're still, you know, they're crisp. And when I've been driving around town, the gearbox has just been quite pleasant. It's gotten along with it. Yeah, I'll tell you what, on this road, this still feels pretty tidy to drive. I'm not going to lie. Again, I'm surprised. I thought it would feel a bit heavier and a bit wallowier than I initially expected it to be. But these DBSs, they're great driver's cars. Am I having more fun in the Coupe with the manual? Yeah, sure. I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody. But this is still a lovely experience, and I guarantee in summer, with the roof down, this is probably the one that you want to go for, especially if you're not a keener driver. I would imagine that you'd be very happy pootling along in one of these, using the performance, of which there is plenty, when the mood takes you, and just listening to that glorious V12 engine with the roof down. So yeah, this is still a proper thing. I'm going to do something for you guys. It's a cold day, but you know what? I'm going to get the roof down anyway. You can actually do this on the move. For speeds up to 30 miles an hour, I think, and it takes about 14 seconds. Yeah, nice. Okay, time for some alfresco motoring. I hope that I don't get too cold. I also want to hear that V12 engine uninterrupted. Oh, that sounds good. This is nice. I tell you, I've got the heated seat on. My bum's quite toasty, and there isn't a huge amount of wind buffeting. Not at these speeds anyway. What am I doing? I'm doing 40 miles an hour at the moment. Maybe when I pick up a little bit, it'll get a little bit worse. But yeah, this is nice. This is nice. I would love this on a summer's day for sure. This is, I think, a more relaxed experience than that Coupe DBS. That's a car that kind of makes you want to get up it and drive it and really push on and have some fun. Whereas this is a more, I think, leisurely experience. And it's nice. It's really nice, actually. So if you had to ask me, I'd personally pick the DBS with the manual gearbox. I'm a keen driver, so naturally that appeals to me. But that isn't for everybody. And I think there'll still be a lot of people out there that would really enjoy this experience. So that's my take on it. Huge shout out to Hilton and Moss for letting us come for the day and take these two cars out. It's been a real pleasure. They've got an amazing showroom with lots of really beautiful cars, so go and take a look. They also do full restorations of classic vehicles, so you know, if you have a classic vehicle that needs restoring, or you're thinking about purchasing one, they're the guys to go and see for sure. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. I've had a lot of fun, and we'll see you in the next one.